You are now listening to the smooth sensations and high vibrations of Alex, host of the best relationship channel on YouTube. Alex, drop them gems on us.
You got a big bag, let me big bag. Show me where your friends at, we can flip that. Let me put you on the game. 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 Show you where the red at, where the blue at. Show you where they flip that, where they bitch at. Let me put you on the game. Let me put you on the game. Let me put you on the game. Let me put you on the game right there.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Alex. Shout out to the Elite Fleet. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can become a member of Elite Fleet. And I wanted to do a reaction to this video that went viral in the shorts that I seen, where a woman says younger women don't take older men serious when it comes to dating and marriage, which I found interesting because 64% of women are married to a man older than them. So when you say women don't take older men serious in terms of dating, relationships, and marriage, that kind of goes against the reality of what's actually happening. And before anyone says, well, that's just in America, that's actually untrue. As a matter of fact, in every single country in the entire world, women on average are married to men who are older than them. As a matter of fact, when you leave America, the age gap actually gets wider, not smaller. For example, you go somewhere like Nigeria and the average wife is 11 years younger than her husband. You go to somewhere like Gambia and the average wife is 14 and a half years younger than her husband. You go to Bangladesh, she's 8 years younger than her husband. You go to India, she's 5 years on average younger than her husband. So as you can see, the gap actually gets wider, not smaller, when you leave this country in terms of the age gaps in relationships. And no matter what religion is practiced, if you look at the marriages based upon any religion, Islamic, Jewish, okay, Christianity, Buddhism, doesn't matter what you look up, okay, Jehovah's Witnesses, it does not matter. Every single one has an average woman, wife, younger than her husband. So it's always interesting to me how really this is kind of only an American thing and an American talking point. Only American women really seem to have a problem with this and argue against it and think it's weird or it's predator vibes for a man to be married to a woman younger than him, which I never really understood, because before I even react to this video, I just want to show you guys how many levels this is goofy on, okay? First of all, on a societal level, it's kind of goofy for a woman not to look the date up. First of all, most of us know when we were in high school, women were always dating older men. Why? The older men had more resources. Not only could the older men give them more money, most of the older men had cars and vehicles. Most of the older men were more developed, okay, physically and in masculinity. And considering the top two things, no matter what happens, no matter how much society tries to deprogram them from this, it's going to take thousands of years to deprogram women from this, because it took thousands of years of programming them into this, and it's also partially biology. But anyway, women want to be protected and provided for, all right? Those are the two main things. Now, could you balance that out with other things? Sure. But that's the two main things, and the older man's almost always going to be in a better position to do that. And it starts young. Like I said, high school, college. Most women are dating older men. Most women in high school, a couple women in high school are dating college boys, or the dudes on the block who are a little bit in their 20s or early upper teens, 19, 18, with 15, 16-year-olds. We see this all the time. College, again, a lot of women have sugar daddies, okay? Or they're dating men in their 30s or something like that. We see this all the time, okay? And it works out for the women because, well, they get what they want. They get provided for and they get protection from an older man. So it works for them. Also, biologically, women have what we like to call a biological clock. A lot of women hate when you bring that up, but I mean, it's just a fact. 35 plus is a geriatric pregnancy, okay? That's going to make more complications for the fetus. It's going to make more complications for the woman who's carrying the fetus. So both of you have a lower risk chance of survival the longer you wait to have a child, which probably plays into why women, even at younger ages, okay, like I said, high school and college, are completely ready to settle down once they fall in love with you. See, women will fall in love with you at a young age and literally be ready to have your kid. She'll literally be ready to marry you. She'll literally be ready to spend the rest of her life with you. And realistically, most men in high school and college aren't really looking for that, but women are wired to be like that because they have a biological clock. It's only recently that they even started fighting against this. Now let's go to the guy society side. What's most important to a guy? Well, youth, okay, youth and looks, okay? Most guys are vain, and you're gonna look your best physically when you're young. All right, you don't have wrinkles all over your face, your breast ain't falling all down here like kickballs, okay? Your vagina lips ain't flapping around like this, ain't doing all that, all right? You're at your most fertile, you're at your peak fertility, you'll get pregnant the fastest, you're more likely to have easy pregnancy with a healthy baby, and you can also go back to back. You can back that thing right back on up and pop another kid right back on out. And not only do you have your youth and fertility, but you keep your youth and fertility longer. Okay, he's also in a position where he can protect, provide, and provision for you. Okay, he also has knowledge he can give onto you, which I didn't mention in the other part, but that's another thing that women tend to look for fastly when they get into a relationship with a man. Okay, so on no level, right, that does not make sense. From a biological standpoint, a man can have a kid whenever he wants to. All right, so whereas a woman has a clock, a man does not. So a man is allotted the time to get his life together so he can put a woman in his kingdom. Okay, and as we all know, society says most men aren't going to be established and really ready to take on a woman until they get into their upper 30s anyway. And biologically speaking, as men get older, what happens? The need to spread their seed goes down. See, when men are young, they're all charged up on testosterone, because if we didn't have a current society that we have right now, we would need to spread our seed to as many women as possible, considering that a lot of women would die of disease, a lot of women would be killed by predators. So it would make more sense for men to go around spreading their seed to as many women as possible, as it would ensure our survival as an entire population or race of human beings. Okay, now nowadays we don't necessarily need to do that, because the inventions of modern science has made the world a lot safer of a place, but your biological needs as a man is still programmed to spread your seed when you're young. But as you get older, you get more inclined, you have less testosterone, you start to care a lot less about spreading your seed to as many women as possible, and more so just locking in, focusing on one woman. So no matter which way you bend it, twist it, flip it, bop it, what I'm trying to say to you guys is, it makes no real sense to say that men and women should date and be about the same age. It's always made more sense, and it continues to make more sense, that women should date older and men should date younger. But let's see what this woman's got to say, because I'm already kind of ripped this whole entire talking point down before we even got into the reaction. So we can timestamp this if you want to. Let's get straight into the reaction.
Crazy misconception is a lot of older men think that they can mold younger women to be the woman that they want them to be. As someone who was younger and dated older men, it is a false belief. I used to date older men, and my mindset was, I'm going to use them. I'm going to use them for money. I don't want to settle down with them. I don't want to bring them home to my dad and to my parents. The girls that I knew that dated older men, it was about getting the bag, living a certain lifestyle, and having fun with them. But we never wanted to take them serious in marriage.
Okay, well, that's you. But on the other hand, me, I'm gonna turn up.
Well, my dear girl, that's you. You used older men for money, which essentially would make you a prostitute or 304, whatever you want to call it. And no, I'm not being mean, but when you directly say, when I dealt with older men, I dealt with older men solely for money, that's literally the definition of a prostitute, a 304, or whatever you want to call it. So whatever you want to call it. And that's you and your friends, and that's why you and your friends are single right now. See, if you were smart, if you were properly guided, if you had a man in your life to tell you how to really do this, what you would have done, okay, is you might have used the men for your money when you were in college and stuff like that, but as soon as you got to about 21 through 28, you would have been focusing on locking one of those older men down, locking one of those more established men down. And the reason you would have did that is because you got to think long term, not short term. Yeah, it might be fun in the short term to have a man take you to Fleming's, or have a man take you to Fogo de Chão, or take you to Nobu, or bring you to his penthouse, or bring you to the rooftop like I have here for such, and blow your back out while you hang over the rail, or blow your back out with the floor to ceiling windows, or fly you here or fly you there, or put you on a yacht so you can shake your ass on Instagram. All that sounds good when you're young, but a smart woman who's really true to the game, and this is why I said a long time ago, I understand now more than ever why women have pimps, because when left to your own vices, you don't know how to set yourself up for the long term, and you make goofy decisions. Okay, it's specifically black women, and sisters, I love y'all, but white women, Asian women, Hispanic women already know what I'm about to say. See, by the time you get 21 plus, what you should be doing with those older men is trying to secure the bag. I repeat, secure the bag. Not get $200 to pay a phone bill here, flew out this one time there, brought to the penthouse this one time here, taking a Nobu this one time here. No, dear, that's hustling backwards. What you should have been doing is trying to have a marriage, okay, get married to this older man, or in a worst case scenario, if you're too low value to be able to lock him down, at least have his baby. Why? Well, if you deal with a man like Rick Ross, for example, okay, it serves you no purpose to be his concubine. At the end of the day, there's always someone younger, hotter, and eventually he's going to get tired of smashing you, as the old phrase go, for every bad chick, there's a dude tired of sleeping with her. So if you have his child, that's $11,000 in child support every month. If you marry him, not only do you get to keep this lifestyle for the rest of your life, but if he decides he gets tired of you and divorces you, you then get alimony. See, in either situation, you've secured the bag long term. This is why most women of the Asian, Hispanic, and white descent tend to get married to higher earning older men, whereas black women tend to be baby mamas to higher earning older men. Now, I would suggest, again, locking this man down and marrying him, but in the worst case scenario, I can't say you're hustling backwards if you have his baby, you have Nick Cannon's baby or Future's baby, because you're still securing a check. But what you decided to do was be a free use concubine that dudes could throw to the side whenever they were done with you. You and your friends are goofy, hence why you and your friends are on YouTube making videos about how younger women aren't taking older men serious because you want those older men to deal with you, when the reality is they're dealing with girls who were moving just like you were when you were younger because they can. But let's continue.
You can't mold someone into being something you want them to be. You need to find someone that you're more compatible with, no matter what their age is.
Oh, this is another misconception, my dear. See, when men say younger women are moldable, they're not talking about their personality. They're not talking about they're going to turn her into liking sports, or they're going to turn her into listening to a certain type of music, or reading a certain type of book, or anything that has to do with her personality traits. When men say younger women are more moldable, they're talking solely about relationships. See, younger women have less baggage. Okay, and by less baggage, I don't just mean that they're less likely to have kids. I don't even just mean that they're less likely to have a bunch of bodies, okay? Both of those things are true, but that's not even just what I'm talking about. Younger women have had less relationships, okay? Which means they have less relationship experience, which means they're a lot more likely to defer to you as far as how a real relationship should work. See, most younger women have never even lived with a man before. So when you say, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, this is how we can function, I have this plan, I need you to follow this plan, she's more likely to go, okay, daddy. Whereas an older woman who's already lived with a man before, okay, and it's already not worked out, she's a lot more likely to come into the situation and say, no, I don't think we should do that, I think we should this, we shouldn't do it this way, we should do it that way, blah, 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 yada, 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 yada. I mean, this isn't really an opinion. This is pretty much a fact. Obviously, not in all cases, but in most cases, a young woman's going to be more likely to listen to an older man about how a relationship should work. It has nothing to do with her personality traits or how a relationship should work, because she just generally does not have much relationship experience. She probably has never lived with a man before, or really even been in a serious relationship as far as that goes before. So she's a lot more likely to just follow his program. And as long as his program is good, everything should be fine. An older woman might have already tried that with a man and been burnt. So she's already dealing with a bunch of insecurities. She's already dealing with a bunch of baggage. She's already coming in with that heard it all before attitude. And she's not really trying to listen to what you're saying. She's constantly trying to insert her ideas or her opinions or her past experiences into the plan you laid out for her, which in general just makes her more difficult to deal with. So you already have a misconception when you think that men say that younger women are more moldable and it has anything to do with their personalities. Of course, you pick someone you're compatible with on a personality level. They're talking about a woman who's going to follow their plan and not try to inject their own points into their plan because they're like, well, I did it this way before and it didn't work, or I have this grand idea, or I have this thing established. No, a younger woman is a lot more likely, especially when dealing with an older, more secure man, to be like, okay, daddy, if that's what you think it is, let's just roll with that. That's what they mean when they say moldable. Now, if you want to debate that that's not true, that's a whole nother point. But if you're going to debate the topic, it's important you understand what a man means when he says it. Let's wrap this video up.
No matter what their age is. And if you find yourself not being compatible with women around your age group and only relating to younger minded people, that says more about you than it says about the people around you.
Well, you're right. It does say more about you than the people around you. If you're an older man and you have access to younger women, it says that you're successful. See, an older man who doesn't have his stuff together, a younger woman has no purpose for them. She's not going to pay him any attention. She's just going to deal with someone her own age if that's the case. But if you're an older man and you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s or above, and you're pulling 20-year-old women, and that has to mean 9 times out of 10, of course not in every case, but in most cases, you have established yourself as a high-value man, an elite man, whatever whatever you want to call it, and the woman wants to make herself a part of your world, like the Little Mermaid, which puts you a cut above the average man. So you're 100% right. It says a lot about you. Now, you seem to, again, be making the mistake of thinking a man is dealing with younger women because he's not compatible with older women. And that's just not true. Men deal with younger women because they want to. Again, younger women are more moldable. Again, younger women look better, okay? Everything on them is more perky. Everything on them is more intact, okay? A younger woman is more fertile. A younger woman is more likely to listen. They're dealing with a younger woman because that's their preference, not because they can't get an older woman. Let me let you ladies in on a secret that y'all don't seem to understand. Women 30 plus are easy. It's not hard to get them. To be honest with you, it's not even hard to get them to cooperate, because most women 30 plus are desperate because what they thought was, okay, all the men in my age bracket are going to be ready to settle down and we're just going to pair up and start having these babies. But what they failed to realize is, well, just like they were dealing with older men when they were in their 20s, these women in their 20s are dealing with older men too. And the successful established women want the successful established man, but the successful established man is the one who has the most access to the 20-year-old women who were like you were when you were younger, using them for their money. So why would he deal with you? There's no reason to deal with you unless he's bored, okay, and it's a slow Thursday or a slow Tuesday, or it's late night on a Wednesday. He wants to sneak you in after 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. I should say, on a late night tip. He might deal with you for that, but why take you serious in context of an actual relationship? See, why weren't you married years ago? You should have been aiming for marriage well before you got to 30. I don't understand why you were waiting till 30 until you got married. It's like you throwing a Hail Mary at the last second, Aaron Rodgers lobbing it to the back of the end zone. What were you doing all the rest of this time? Not to mention a lot of men who established themselves in their 30s, a lot of them, not all of them, but a good amount of them, weren't necessarily having access to women like you when they were younger. So now they're like, well, I don't want you now. You didn't want me then. I might as well go and get this younger girl. You didn't want me when I was coming up. So why would I want you now? See, if you're going to wait at the finish line, it's important that you be at your fertile peak. You be at your best looking peak when you wait at that finish line. You don't want to wait at that finish line and not be at your best. You don't want to go to the draft at 30 years old. No. You go to draft at 20, 22, 23, at max 25. That's when you really want to be in the draft, because that's when the team thinks they can get the most years out of you. In the draft, someone who's 24, 25 is looked at as old. Even if they have all the talent in the world, you're like, but how long am I going to get a return on this talent? See, I don't know why older women think that, but let's get that misconception off. It's not that older men can't handle you. It's not that older men can't get you. Again, y'all are easy. Trust me when I tell you, it's a lot easier to get a 30-year-old woman who's throwing a Hail Mary, who knows she only got about 10 years to get married and have a family, than it is a 20-year-old who has her whole life ahead of her. It actually requires a lot more to get the 20-year-old. The older men who are dealing with younger women simply don't want you. It's not that they're not compatible with you. It's not that they can't get you. It's not that they can't handle you or whatever else you make up in your head where you sit down at your brunches with your women and y'all make up all these conspiracy theories instead of just talking to men. It's simply because they don't want you. And they don't want you because they know they can access something younger than you. They don't want you because they know they can get the version of you 5 years ago right now. There's no reason to deal with you. Your best option would be to get a man who's on your level or slightly below your level, since you waited that long, because he might see value in the fact that you have your money. He might see value in the fact that you're older. He might see value in the fact that you don't necessarily need him to take care of you. But a man who can do that, he's looking at fertility, he's looking at looks, and then, like you mentioned, he's looking at compatibility. But a lot of the times, they just don't want you. It's not that they can't get you. It's not that they can't handle you. It's not that they're not compatible with you. They simply just don't want you. So I just want to break down the misconceptions in those videos, because women like to make up things in their head and come to their own conclusions about everything. And a lot of it is not true. So are there women out there who are young who use men for their money? Of course, we all know that. But generally speaking, around the whole entire country, there are also an abundance of younger women looking to marry, have kids by, and be in a relationship with an older man so that she can be protected, provided for, and be in a more traditional household and lifestyle. The media may try to convince you that modern women don't still want to be housewives, but as I show on my channel all the time, and as women will tell you if you listen to them speak, they definitely still want to be taken care of, provided for, and protected. And men know that they'd rather do this for a younger woman than do it for an older woman. And smart women know this. This is why they get married young and they don't wait until they're 30 plus. So I just want to clear up some of those misconceptions, do something a little bit different. But that's my opinion on that. I am Alex, and I am out. Peace.